Good morning. I've just been to Asda to stock up on supplies for my little trip this weekend. I have as I promised you in the previous video, we're going to do some stuff on the yacht this week. I've had to replace what's known as the Vang. We've got a Selden Rodkicker Vang and it's got a gas piston inside and it seems to have given up. So we're going to go down to the boat shortly. We're going to go and replace the piston, refit the Vang, and we're going to take it up the river and have a little play around to check that it's fixed. There isn't a great deal of wind this week. You know, it's an ideal time to test out a fix to the sails when you're not getting blown sideways. So I hope you liked the video, and I'm happy that you could come along for the ride. Well then, we've just arrived at Fox's Marina. For those of you who don't know it, it's also the home of Oyster Yachts and where they commission all the yachts. So if I spin the camera around, hopefully you can see all those Oyster Yachts are getting ready for their multi-millionaire customers. These floating hotels, they're absolutely huge. Sadly, my yacht is not that size, and we're heading off down in this direction, so let's go. Yeah, I don't have an Oyster Yacht. This is where the paupers live. But I do have two yachts down here, so I guess over the course of a 12-month vlogging period, you'll see both. I have a small one, Casimir, that's just down here, and I have Brilliant, which you'll see in a minute, that's over in that direction. But yeah, Fox's Marina. Good little marina. It's got a great chandlery, which is absolutely ideal when you're still working on your boat and getting all the stuff up to date. So I don't have any real complaints, other than them parking the really expensive yachts opposite my boat, which I have to navigate. Welcome aboard. I'll give you a proper tour later once we get out of the marina and we've got a bit more space. Right now, the biggest problem is fixing this Vang. A Vang is the strut that sits between the base of the mast, if you've got the mast going up here, and the boom that comes out that holds the mainsail. And so the Vang provides uplift whilst the sail's up to keep the boom off the top of the spray hood and from bouncing up and down too wildly. So what I've got, bits and pieces, is this Selden Rodkicker, and it sort of sits, you know, at that type of angle. And inside it is one of these, which I think is pretty much original, so it's impressive it's lasted this long. But this is like a gas piston, like you would find in the boot of your car, you know, to hold the boot up. And so that provides outward thrust for the rod kicker. As the boom bounces up and down, it pushes it back out. And so over time, like there's quite a lot of corrosion there, and on other spots up and down the gas strut where, you know, it's just worn out. So we're going to replace it, and hopefully that will resolve my problem. So I actually loosened these off earlier because they were real tight, so I have some grips, and I used just a lever, and so these will come off easily, but I won't show you the hard work it was earlier. So hopefully this fits, because this isn't the same replacement part, but apparently is going to work. That's end number one. These are all rated as well, so you have to make sure you swap it out for the same rating, unless of course you're changing your rigging, obviously. So I think this is 1200 newtons. Yeah, and again here, where it's been sort of exposed, you can, you know, it's orange with rust. So even if this doesn't fix it, it needed replacing. Because this isn't a like-for-like replacement, this is actually cheaper because, and apparently it lasts longer. So these are better constructed from what people say on the forums. And just for people who need to know, this is a Metrol Springs Limited gas piston, and its serial number, part code, is NS-SS-V-14-250. We'll give it a go. It just lives inside it, and then there's a couple of like squidgy buttons and some buttons on top that you'll have to get lined up. So I believe that goes on like that. We may find it's upside down in a minute. That goes back in like that. Time to find out if it's upside down or not. It appears I got it right. I don't know if you can see this, but this is basically how we're going to go and fit it upstairs. It wasn't that hard to put back together. It seems to be all in order. It's, you know, getting the pins in and stuff took a little bit of wiggling. I can tell it's stronger because I left the boom at the angle that I took the Rodkicker off at, and it didn't ping out or anything. It was just its natural resting angle, and now it's further out. So clearly there's more pressure from the piston pushing out. So I guess the next task is to take it up the river. So join me in a matter of seconds where I will have magically got changed, and we'll take this thing for a spin. Well, you saw what it took to get the boat up and running. There's no wind today really, so it was the easiest I've had the opportunity to put the sail up in, but the river's quite busy today. I am cheating today though. On days like today, the wind is basically coming straight down the river. The river's not that wide, and I'm too lazy to tack endlessly up and down it, because to go upwind you have to zigzag across the wind to continue making progress. And I could do it, but it would be a lot of energy and it's not that fun on a narrow river. So when I get further up, I should be able to turn side onto the wind for a little bit and just do some sailing at the top end of the river. So, you know, it's still motor sailing. I mean, the sail's up and it's collecting wind, so it's providing some propulsion, but I don't have anything to prove. I don't like, if it was the smaller boat, I would probably do it because it's far more nimble and easy to handle. But, you know, this is a big boat and it takes quite a lot of effort to flip the sails round endlessly. So instead, I'll just enjoy the view, enjoy the weather, because the weather's great, and slowly make my way up the river. So as I slowly make my way up the river, and I mean slowly, I've just been overtaken by another yacht who's going much faster than I am. I'm not in a rush to get anywhere. So I figured I should give you an introduction to my surroundings. I'll give you an introduction to the boat another day, a proper introduction to the boat another day. But this is like my home river and it's absolutely glorious. I mean, you know, there's woodland all around, more woodland and fields and countryside. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better river to cruise up and down. It does get busy in summer, and also there's cargo ships. So back there is Ipswich docks, and so even down this narrow channel, fighting against all the yachts and you know, the little dinghies and stuff, you get these reasonably large, not the huge ones, but these reasonably large container ships coming down that are pretty immense and get very close to you. But yeah, so we're just coming up to Wolverston Marina. Wolverston's an interesting one. Lots of boats there, but it's a lot of people grumble about MDL marinas and the way that they run it. I have no opinion. I've never been there. The one thing that does put me off, especially as a single-handed sailor, is you moor up on the river. And of course the river is tidal, so if the tide's going out, the current is going to push you back the way that we're going, and if the tide's coming in, it's going to push you up and, you know, towards Ipswich. But of course then you've got the wind to battle with, and, you know, various other currents that occur in and around the marina itself. And so I'm sure if you've got a second pair of hands, it's not that tricky on a calmish day. But yeah, I can imagine that being hard work if you're single-handed and the current's ripping through. So yeah, not for me. Here's a closer look at Wolverston. Right next door to Wolverston is the Royal Harwich Yacht Club, which, to be fair, when we came past here 3 weeks ago, I thought was shut, because apparently they take all the boats out the water during winter. I'm not entirely sure the reasoning. I did get told, but I was in the pub and I got drunk and forgot. But I thought it was shut, but it's not. So this is the Royal Harwich Yacht Club, and they have a nice clubhouse at the top up there. I suspect the sunrise looks nice from there. Royal Harwich Yacht Club, ladies and gentlemen. So as we go around the corner, the wind has actually got up, so I might try and sail, but I just wanted to show you before I go wild and actually try and sail this thing, what a difference the fix to the Vang made, which of course is the reason for this episode. When I came back on my last trip, it took this strip off the top as the boom came over. Boom's here, look. The boom came over it, I was lucky because it wasn't so low that it just smashed into it, but it just ripped the thing off. So it just sort of peeled the top off it. But now, like, I haven't tightened the Vang, we'll do that in a second. But I hadn't tightened it last time either. I just, you know, it was just where it was. And you can see the difference, like, you know, now with the new piston in place, there's all this gap. Even though this is tight, you know, the ropes are tight, the sheets are tight, you know, the sail's all the way up, but the new Vang piston has made a world of difference, and so now we'll try and tighten it up and see what happens. This boat's great because it's set up for single-handed sailing, so I've got the main sheet comes back here, and then I've got the Vang. The rope's a little short, it's not ideal, but here we go. So you just want to pull it in tight, and then see if we can crank this thing tighter. So there we go, I just cranked the Vang in tight, and yeah, that fix has worked a treat, because the Vang fixes the sail shape, and you need to be able to tighten it when you're going upwind. Like, now it's tight, it you know, affects the sail shape, but doesn't crash on the spray hood roof, which is great. So just before I deploy the foresail, we're going past Pin Mill, and I've moved back upwind, so I'm giving it a couple of seconds. But yeah, I've recently been watching East Anglian bushcraft, so shout out to Craig and all his amazing videos. If you haven't seen his channel, I'll drop a link in below. I highly recommend you go and check it out. Both East Anglian bushcraft and Simon, a bloke in the woods, I've learned a lot that hopefully I'll put into practice about stealth camping and you know, outdoors and bushcrafty stuff, really helpfully in the local area, which is always useful, because then you can go and apply it and you sort of know what to expect within reason. But I got into East Anglian bushcraft because he did a stealth camp on one of the wrecks over there in Pin Mill, and that was a cool video. But then he did a canoe trip and a night away on the other side of the river. Now, I don't know for sure, but my guess is it's somewhere in that tree line. So I'll stick a link to that video. But he basically canoed out of Pin Mill, which is a very historical old fishing, I was going to call it harbour. I don't know if it's a harbour, but you know, it's a place where you can put boats in the water, so you know, maybe. But he canoed over the river, so it's either there or over there, but that looks more suitable, I would imagine. Anyway, I ramble on and digress. So yeah, Pin Mill, everybody. And there's plenty of swing moorings here and a pub that I've never been to, but you can pick up a swing mooring, head ashore and spend an evening sampling the finest local beers in the pub at Pin Mill. Should we attempt to get this foresail out and actually do some real sailing? I'll check behind me, nothing there, nothing coming down the river, so I'll just bring the boat around a little bit. Clamp you on here, lads, there you go. So, hold on, can I turn you round? There we go. So the foresail obviously is a bit at the front, and so we're going to get that out just to add some more drive to the boat. So. go. So the foresail's out, it's on the other side, but it's big and helps drive the wind, a bit like an aeroplane. Hold on, see if I can show you. There you go. So yeah, we're up and running. We're up and running, lads. Just trying to get my bearings now. I've got the sails up. So the engine's still running, but it is in neutral. I'll just leave it ticking over, and then that way, if I turn into the wind, I can cheat a bit if I choose to. So we're approaching the end of our little cruise today, having thoroughly tested out the Vang on that sail. You have seen the time lapse of me tacking up and down the River Orwell. I will leave you in a minute as I go and try and anchor this boat on the river. I'm just hanging a right onto the river Stour, which should offer me a little bit of shelter for the night and that type of stuff. I need to be careful of the ferry at this point because they're quite angry people. But behind me you'll have seen, yeah, the rather large port of Felixstowe. And so on my right over here we have Shotley Marina. And the two lightships that guard it, and then on my left, on the port side, we have the town of Harwich. So just at the front there is the Halfpenny Pier, and you can spend the day in Harwich if you want to. You can spend the night in Harwich if you want to. I'm not sure why you'd want to, but you can certainly do that. And Harwich is like the gateway to the North Sea, which is just out there behind me. So yeah, I am going to go and anchor up. Thank you all for watching. Of course, if you like this video, please like, subscribe, comment, all the usual stuff, and I will see you again somewhere out and about soon. Bye for now.